Thank you so much.
Here we are.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you a lot.
Can I click that on you?
It's hard without seeing.
There's a mic there.
Really? No, wait a second, found it. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm Merve Goulding. I'm a motion consultant, and today I'm going to talk about how I track and analyze my time and use that data to optimize my schedule going forward. So I'm a solo business owner. I work alone, so I work on different tasks throughout the week, and when you are doing everything all on your own, it's so easy to get, lost track of time, do something spend too much time on some specific task, activity, and not enough time on other things. So it's important to know where you spend your time so you can spare enough time. Sorry, a bit sleepy, I guess. So it's important to know for me how I invest my time so I can make sure I'll spare enough time for those essential tasks to build a successful business. So how I do that. So I manage, as you would guess, my tasks on Notion, and I had this system with clients, projects, tasks, time tracker, the regular project management system, right? So about a year ago, I added another layer on that system, which is task categories. So as I track time for my tasks, that time counts towards the related task categories throughout the week, so I know every week how I spend my time. So how do we do that? I'll just tell you step by step how I achieve that. So the first step is defining the task categories. I told you I'm just categorizing my categories for the last year, and I kind of settled on this list for myself, but just a heads up, I'm a solo business owner, a service provider, so this is how I work. So delivery is what I get paid for, right? Producing work, providing support for clients. Content is all tasks related to content creation process. It contains writing, editing, designing, recording, etc. Marketing is lead generation activities. Social media, networking. Sales is the conversations I have with leads. So it includes sales calls, follow-ups, and also presentations. I know that marketing and sales kind of goes hand in hand, but I prefer tracking my sales separately just to make sure that I am putting enough effort to have conversations with leads, because if I don't have those conversations, I don't sell. So just posting on social media or attending networking events is not enough as a service provider for me. So that's how I work. Then next we have development, which includes professional development, business development activities. So expanding skills, improving existing product services, and potentially creating new offers. And everything else goes under planning. Measuring performance, admin tasks, accounting, etc. Now this is how I define my services, my task categories. But again, if you, for example, have another type of business, for example, if you're running a product-based business where you sell, for example, Notion templates, then you would have different types of categories. For example, instead of delivery, you would have support, potentially support for customers, right? And then probably you would merge marketing and sales in that sense, because you wouldn't need that many conversations with leads. And probably you would just split development into 2 different categories. One would be like professional development, and the second would be product development, because you're constantly developing products, improving or creating new ones. And so it depends on your business model and how you work and how you name things, really, because semantics matter, and it is important to name and describe task categories in a way that makes sense to you, so you can minimize the time you spend on making decision when you're categorizing your tasks, because this system requires categorizing every single task. So next we assign percentages for each category. So these percentages will be used to define the required working hours each week for each category. So we have, for example, if we're working 40 hours weeks, then probably, just like for delivery, if you assign 50%, this system would expect you to spend half your time, 20 hours, on that delivery category. So decisions would be based on the final column, so for delivery, decide based on how many hours you need to work to build to have a sustainable business that would provide for you. And content depends on the content volume and your production efficiency. Marketing, required activities and channels you use. Then sales is based on the desired outcome and your conversion rate. And the development is about your expertise level, depends on your expertise level, the development speed in your field, and the development your business needs. And then planning is literally the regular work that needs to be done no matter what, like accounting. The only thing is, you can decide on whatever percentage you want to, settle on, but the total must be 100%, because that's the time you allow yourself to work. Okay, so this is the percentages I recommend to start with. Again, this is a list for, service provider, solo business owner. So it's a good starting point from my perspective. And what we do is, just like we set the percentages, we test for a week or 2, and then adjust, and then test again, and then repeat until you find your sweet spot. Okay, the system, now how this percentages and working hours look in categories and percentages look in a task management environment. So we have 4 essential databases: working hours, task categories, tasks, and time records. And this dashboard screenshot is very similar to what I have on my Notion task management system. It's pretty much the same, to be honest. Just have a few more toggles around. So we have. Let's start with working hours, shall we? So working hours database has one entry, which is used to define the weekly working hours and process information, just like process the stats. So I set the working hours just under the title. You can see in the working hours property. And then depending on the value in that property, the required hours and weekly progress on the task categories are calculated. So if I change, I can change that working hours value. So when I change, everything updates accordingly. So this is 40 hours, and here is 30 hours. So my weekly progress gets updated, and also the requireds are updated as well. So what was there? Okay, so yeah, I use the weekly hours page to adjust my percentages on the task categories, just to keep an eye on the total under the percentage column. So this is actually a screenshot from from that dashboard, the demo dashboard. It's how I track my progress towards my task categories. So the color-coded progress bars display my progress for the current week based on my weekly intentions. Green is great. That means I hit my goal. Even if it's like 112, it can go up to 120. It's still okay. Blue is good. It means I just did some work and I'm almost there. Yellow is okay. It means I did some work, tracked some time actually, but I still need to do more. And red is not good. The light red, which you can see on the development at the end, that means I didn't track any time that week for that category. And then dense red means I overdid it. It's beyond 120%. So I also have the hours I tracked for that week for each category, which kind of gives me an idea where my time goes, what did I do this week? I also have a chart for my task categories, which displays my current percentages. So based on the total time I tracked rather. So working hours and task categories are essential parts of the system, but the actual work happens in the task database. So there is a little task page over there, the sample task page. So tasks are connected to task categories. So when I add a new task, I link it to a related task category. And every task page comes with a time tracker, so I can track time on the task page while I was working on it. And when I track time, those hours on the time tracker there are counted towards the task category, my progress on the task category. So I also have a bunch of task templates, so it's really easy to add like weekly content planning, sales call, and things like that. Okay, so there are some benefits of time tracking. So I can see where my time goes every week. I exactly know how I use my time. And I can easily analyze it. I know exactly how many hours I work every day and every week, how much time I spend on specific tasks, how much time a regular project takes, how much effort I need to achieve my income goals. So I can plan my schedule and price new projects as well based on the data I collected. And I can easily switch off at the end of a workday knowing that I've done enough. I also get this little dopamine boost at the end of the week, seeing those little green progress bars. So let's wrap up. So yeah, if you want to change something, you need to know what you want to change, and you need to know your existing state and what you want to achieve. So once you understand how you use your time and analyze the outcomes you get out of your efforts, you can adjust your schedule and use your time more intentionally. So the steps are: define your task categories in a way that makes sense to you, assign percentages for each category based on your business model and goals, use a system to track and analyze your time, but most importantly, adopt a time tracking habit so you can rely on the data you collect, and test, analyze, optimize, repeat until you find your sweet spot. So I built this system for myself, and I kind of created similar setups for clients, but I always kind of edit those additional layers on top of their existing task management systems. So I don't have a template yet for this, but a few people actually asked for it, so it's in the making. So if you're interested in getting this one, scan the QR code. It will take you a Notion form. Fill out the form and I'll let you know when it's available. So if you can also put the event name in the related question, I can just give it to you for free. So that's me, I guess. And I think I'm on time.
I have one question.
Oh, go on.
I was just curious if you size a task before you do it, so that you know how long a certain task takes, or if you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Because one thing I always find I struggle with is knowing how long it's going to take before I start it, and then that kind of throws everything off because I didn't allow enough time to do that, because I didn't either size it before.
Well, great question. Well, I can kind of guess that about projects rather than tasks, because tasks are a bit more tricky. But I mean, I guess you can kind of, as you do similar things, you kind of get the idea.
I guess it's just starting.
Yeah, once you start, once you have the data, you know how much time a task like this take. For example, how much time writing a blog post take? Yeah, I mean, if it took you like 4 hours last week, it probably will take you a similar amount of time this week, but you will see that time will get, smaller and smaller as you go along.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
I have a question. So basically, whenever you start a new task, do you kind of say, okay, I want to track this now, and then you stop when you finish this?
Yes, I stop. I mean,
That requires a lot of discipline, because I jump back and forth with everything.
so there's a start timer button, for example.
Yeah.
I click it, it logs the start time, and when I just stop working on, when I've completed a task or take a break, I just click the stop button on the row, on the related row, so it just logs the end time. So if I come back to the task again to work on it a little bit more, I add a new record. So they're all kind of added up in the total time there.
You've just solved the problem that I've been trying to solve for ages.
Really?
I have a time tracker and I just have one thing in progress and it runs. But it's so obvious, like the simplest ways, but trying to do pause and start again has been really difficult.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't worry about pausing, just stop it, start again, yeah.
Multiple entries.
So it's some entries within a secondary database that's filtered by that.
Yeah, filtered by the task, yeah.
Of course. Great, that's going in.
So can I ask a quick question from the back seats? When you're doing each of your clients or whatever, obviously you just open up, it's like a whole new project you do each time.
Yeah.
You just copy each time. So I'm doing like 3 different events and I can just work out, so the timing.
Sorry, I don't think I get the
If
question.
I have 3 events going on at the same time, and 3 different projects,
Yeah.
I have 3 different Notion flows.
Depends how you want to do it, I guess. But you're doing it by client, right? Because the job is a job per
Yeah, so I
client.
mean, yeah, so I got 3 clients.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, actually, I have some clients who have multiple projects with me. So I open that project so I can just close it when it's done. I don't need to worry about it again. I can say like that's done. So I can open a new project for them, like phases or things like that. So, I mean, it depends, really. It depends what kind of a system you want to set up for your business, what kind of a business model you have, and how you work, really. Because on Notion, we can do anything. It can be so customized. It's so customizable. It depends on how you want to do
Project
things.
management on it.
Sorry?
I'm thinking a lot of project management.
Yeah. I mean, this is part of a project management system,
Yeah.
really.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good. Are we good?
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I think.